Hi there, fellow Bond fans. It's Watch Along Wednesday once again, and today's episode I have been really looking forward to. When this came out back in 2002, amongst all the others that you've seen so far, and one more yet to come after this, it's the one that I watched quite possibly the most, purely because of the host. Now, the thumbnail on this could already reveal who that is, but if you know me, you know who I am most likely on about. So this is called Best Ever Bond, and from what I recall, it's kind of like other similar format where there's a countdown from, I'm guessing, 20, and the program's interacting with the people's thoughts and feelings on specific moments in the Bond films throughout those 20 films and how they feel about them, and it's with people of the day from what I can recall, and it should be a really interesting watch. It's on ITV. It's coming in at just under an hour and a quarter, so I get the feeling there might be some, unfortunately, adverts in this one, because probably at the time I could have been busy with other things. I'm not too sure, but this one got plenty of viewings from myself. And right from the word go, as you'll see, it oozes kind of sophistication, cheekiness. There's this sideways glance that always makes me chuckle, and I'm probably going to chuckle and possibly say something I don't know, but it just, from the word go, it just makes me smile. Hopefully it does you too. So let's take a look at Best Ever Bond. Okay, my friends, let's get down to the correct one, and away we go. Told ya.
He is the world's most famous spy. More than 2 billion people have seen him in action, and it's 40 years since his first big screen adventure. I think you know who I'm talking about. Time for a little celebration, don't you think?
This never happened to the other fella.
Stop this car at once!
One down, two to go.
Grow up, 007.
Tonight, we are celebrating the life of a man who never did grow up by counting down your 10 best ever Bond moments. And he has definitely had his moments, I can tell you. The girls, the gadgets, the humor, the high-speed chases, they have all helped make James Bond the most successful film character of all time.
Bond has a mixture of intelligence and violence. We like that.
Who are you?
Bond. James Bond. What of it?
I'm just mad about you.
Have I ever let you down?
I don't care what havoc he wreaks.
He's got women on call. You know, he's got a great life. Why wouldn't you want to be James Bond? I think it's every male's fantasy.
Here we are.
With Bond, the hero, turns the wicked woman into something really rather pure and wonderful.
My name is Pussy Galore.
Oh, I don't know how pure, but...
My God, what's Bond doing?
I think he's attempting re-entries.
He's a gentleman, seems to know how to treat the ladies, and he's dangerous.
The thing about Bond is that the expectation of it, just as much as watching the films. I don't ever get disappointed with Bond.
Steady.
Once you've seen them, they're stuck in your memory banks.
Vodka Martino?
Shake. Let's go.
Time to find out how you, the viewers, have voted in Best Ever Bond. Where else to start but at the beginning? 1962 and James Bond's first outing. The perfect introduction to the perfect hero.
That first scene, when it was the first time you ever see Connery, it was vital because it just set everything up. this suave, cool, sophisticated man about town. The first sight of him in any film has a tremendous impact.
I was gambling and not doing terribly well.
I need another 1,000.
I admire your courage, Miss...
Trench.
And I said, the name's Trench. Sylvia Trench. And I said, and you are?
Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Mr. Bond, I suppose you wouldn't care to, raise the limit?
I have no objection.
It was that toughness he has that gave him that instant appeal.
He is mysterious. I think I like the Scots accent. I mean, he's edgy. There's an edge to him.
Looks like we're out to get me.
It's an idea at that.
Almost overnight, his 007 debut transformed Sean Connery from unknown to world star.
Sean Connery epitomises the perfect Bond. He's masculine and he's strong and he's sexy and he's funny and he's everything.
He is the coolest man in the world, or I thought so, in 1962 when I sneaked into the Odeon Bury St Edmunds to watch.
Originally, they wanted to make the picture with Cary Grant. I went over to Hollywood to meet him. I'd known him for some years. And Cary said, no way, dear boy, I'll do one picture and that's it. Not going to sign for 3 or 4 films.
The producers, Saltzman and Broccoli, saw Sean Connery and just loved the way he moved. They said he moved with a cat-like grace. And so when they got him into the office, they just made him walk up and down, which he really hated.
Good evening, sir. Happens to be 3 a.m. When do you sleep, 007?
He hadn't really done much film work. And, you know, he was a bodybuilder, really. And they turned him into this suave individual.
Interesting. Where were you measured for this flight?
My tailor, so,
That's so.
I took Sean to my tailor, and he came and lived with me in France for a few weeks to learn some of the facts of life. He knew quite a few already, believe me.
Got to know it was massive. It made $60 million. And we thought, yeah, we like this. We'll come back and see him again. He's good.
Bond. James Bond.
Bond. James Bond.
By the way, my name is Bond.
As quickly as possible.
It must be absolutely terrifying to be cast as the new James Bond, and the first time you actually get to say that line.
Good morning. My name's Bond.
It was part of the deal. I had to be able to say that line and believe it.
James Bond.
Bond. James Bond.
I think it's a bit like saying the to be or not to be speech. It's that kind of way.
My name's Bond.
Except less long.
James Bond.
All the Bonds seem to have found a way of delivering with a certain magic.
Who are you?
Bond. James Bond. James Bond.
It is one of those lines that has kind of a weightiness to it. But just keep it simple and say the name.
James Bond.
You must know that there's more to playing James Bond than just glamorous locations and beautiful women. It is a downright dangerous occupation. Yes, it is a jet-set lifestyle, but somehow you're always falling out with people.
On paper, it looked impossible. How do you ever film a big action sequence, you know, in free fall? Basically, James Bond is knocked out of an aeroplane without a parachute by Jaws. He skydives down, grabs the pilot down below him, free falling, wrestles with him, overpowers him, grabs it, takes his parachute away. Sounds simple enough, doesn't it?
Bond films are always renowned for that something special or that new sort of jumping the faith of action scenes or stuntmen and trying to go that extra mile, and they always manage to do that. It was a pretty special thing.
I went out and met these skydiving fellows in California who were part of a team, and I sort of showed them what I wanted and got some storyboards made up.
Michael said basically we want Bond in free fall without a parachute, and we want him to be able to get a parachute off somebody else, and is this possible? So we thought about it for about 30 seconds and said, well, sure, of course it is. And then afterwards we tried to figure out how we're going to do it.
The stunt team set about designing an extra compact parachute, small enough to be concealed under their clothes, while they appeared to be in free fall.
We did a test to see if we could put a hidden parachute on in free fall and make it look realistic, because Michael didn't want to have it look like there's a big hump in the back and that this doesn't work. We had a reserve parachute and the main parachute, both very small, and the screen test worked really well, so then we went into production. So when you're in free fall, you're thinking in the back of your mind, is the hidden parachute going to work? So not only are you trying to perform for the camera, but your adrenaline is pumping extra hard knowing that you have a very different safety device on than you normally jump.
Randy DeLuca was the cameraman, and he had a 7-pound camera on his head. When he pulled his parachute, the big problem was his neck was going to get broken because of the weight, the 7 pounds on the extension of his head. So he had to actually deploy a rope around his parachute so that it would open very slowly, so that it wouldn't break his neck.
Scary, absolutely scary that.
To get the 2-minute sequence, we ended up shooting for 5 weeks, and we made 88 jumps during the period. About halfway through the sequence, my part ended because Bond takes the chute and I go away with this horrible scream. And Bond is safe, and then of course comes Jaws.
Time is running out, and so I go to pull my ripcord. But unfortunately, I just rip it right out of the parachute. But fortunately, there's a big circus going on, and I land on that and survive. Jaws always comes back.
Not many men could deal with a 7-foot villain with steel teeth flying towards them, but then again, there is only one James Bond. Remember that this is the man who emerged from the sea with a freshly pressed tuxedo under his wetsuit. Fashions fade, but 007 style is eternal.
Here, buy yourself some decent clothes.
Bond movies make the most fantastic reference point. They really are an absolute style guide. If you saw a Bond movie and didn't know which year it was made in, you could probably guess just by the sort of styles, very much of the moment.
I approve.
The fashions are very much up to the minute.
Oh, not quite. You're a prop.
When people think of Bond, they think of the tux. Every guy who's ever got ready for a ball, after they've tied their bow tie, turns to the mirror.
The guy's got to look well turned out in the tux. And they're made in a specific cut and style. It's like the bat suit, only it's the Bond suit.
Bond is known for being a suit wearer, first and foremost, but in almost every film he goes off on little tangents here and there into the realms of fashion. Not always very well advised, it has to be said. Sean Connery, quite early on in Goldfinger, appears in a blue toweling romper suit.
That's Mr. Goldfinger's suite.
Yes, I know. In the time, not particularly outlandish.
You're very sweet.
Now, slightly suspect.
Possibly the weirdest Bond fashion. You've had Connery, a Scot, for 5 films in a row, and you get an Australian Lazenby and give him a license to kilt.
George Lazenby's kilt, not so sure. It was an extreme fashion kilt by the looks of it. Slightly too many frills and bows.
James, I need you.
So does England.
I love Roger Moore's Bond, but did he have to wear a yellow ski suit? Did he have to? Yellow? Banana, yellow. Secret agent saved the world in a yellow zip-up suit.
Some people can look good in anything, dear boy. but not everyone appreciates the life and works of James Bond. After the break, things might just get a little nasty.
Let the mayhem begin. Expect me to talk?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to buy.
Hello, Moto.
Oh, it looks like we've got adverts. Oh, no, we haven't.
I'm quite sure that not everyone's a fan of 007. He has done battle with some of the cinema's most infamous villains, people who seem hell-bent on taking over the world. Still, they have kept James Bond in employment for 40 years, so they can't be all that bad, can they?
Let the mayhem begin.
This is not a villain.
I've always had power over men.
Observe, Mr. Bond.
The instruments of Armageddon.
I think that the reason why the films are so successful has a great deal to do with the adversaries of Bond.
Any cost, any. Bond must die.
Let his death be a particularly unpleasant and humiliating one.
They're all different,
These things fit enough.
every single one of them.
I guess it's time to start turning overhead.
The audience needs to recoil from the villains. You need to get this kind of, oh,
You will step the little finger on Mr. Bond's right hand.
this guy's really unpleasant. I wouldn't like to be in a room on my own with this geezer.
But that means I would have to be.
Dad!
I think it's a very interesting point that so many of the villains in the Bond films are disfigured in some way. Dr. No with his iron hands.
Forgive my not shaking hands. It becomes a bit awkward with these.
The villains in Bond were always very visual. You know, there was the jaws with the steel teeth, and that immediately you knew he was a villain.
I would describe him as 7 foot, 325 pound guy with steel teeth that kills people with, but he's kind of like the coyote in the Roadrunner and the Coyote. He just keeps coming. Especially when Bond hits him and the bong, you know, nothing happens.
What do you know about a man called Scaramanga, 007?
Scaramanga?
The unusual physical characteristic that Scaramanga possesses is a third nipple.
What? A mammary gland? A third nipple, sir?
You can have steel teeth, you can have, you know, a claw hand, whatever, but a third nipple? It was amazing, isn't it?
I took the trouble to ask my doctor. I said, I'm going to play a part in the character who has a third nipple. I said, that sounds a bit weird. No, no, he said, not at all. It's far more common than people think.
5 more turns and your leg will break.
Another Bond villain trait is the lack of foresight to put a gun to 007's head and finish him off.
The villain wants to sadistically tease Bond by having him in a situation where Bond can't possibly escape to tell him about what he's going to do next.
You're not a sportsman, Mr. Bond. Why did you break up the encounter with my pet python? I discovered he had a crush on me.
He may have all the technology, he may have all the weapons, he may have all the money, but he's made a mistake here. His ego has let him indulge in a conversation with Bond.
Despite your efforts, my finely wrought dream approaches its fulfillment.
New York and Moscow will cease to exist.
It is mine. Mine.
And in the few seconds it takes for the villain to tell Bond what he's up to and how fantastic he is, Bond manages to escape.
You're trying to get Mr. Bond.
You're not allowed to kill James Bond.
It's a bad habit of yours.
I had the gun in my hand. And did I shoot him? No.
I may have some breaking news for you, Elliot.
I wasn't very clever.
What do you want?
Wouldn't kill me.
I begged to be allowed to kill him, but no.
Of course, one of Bond's most dangerous enemies was a man who managed to remain unseen for a number of years. Indeed, we knew far more about his cat than we did about him. Well, it is time to find out how the film crew struggled with both of them as our countdown reaches number 8.
3 men were found dead on the train at Trieste. One of them was crowned. What have you to say, number 5?
Blofeld, of course, was indeed never seen. At the beginning, the hands appeared in stroking the white cat with a voice off screen.
Exactly. What have you to say to that, number 3?
Blofeld is the ultimate adversary of Bond, obviously, and there's been this real build-up during the series, and from Russia with Love, there's sort of shots of him stroking the cat.
But what makes you think that British intelligence will oblige you by falling in with your plan?
And then you get in Thunderball, you see him, you don't get the face, but you just sort of see bits of him in the Paris headquarters.
Are you quite sure all monies have been accounted for by yourself?
To the penny, number 1. Finally, in You Only Live Twice, you get to see the man. So there's been all this build-up, you know there's going to be something special happening.
Before Blofeld was finally revealed, the cinema audience were to be teased with the now customary shots of him stroking his cat. Except this time round, the cat had become as camera-shy as his master.
You see, the stuff with the cat all went on behind me, so I never really saw what was going on. I heard that there were difficulties. The cat wouldn't sit still, or the cat wanted to scratch.
You are to assume full control of operation from now on.
I remember that cat particularly, and I remember the shot particularly, because somebody fired a gun, and this cat went off like a rocket. We couldn't find him. He went, shot away, and ran up into the roof of the studio.
We've got to get up there.
And we spent the next day out trying to find the cat.
I shall be in my apartment.
With the cat finally retrieved and an army of extras assembled in the vast volcano set, a new problem arose. This time with Jan Verriek, the actor booked to play Blofeld.
To my amazement, when he turned up, he looked a bit like Father Christmas. He didn't look like a villain at all. And when we started to shoot, it was even worse because his English was pretty poor. So of course I said that this is absolutely hopeless, you know, and here we were on this huge set and no Blofeld. And we just couldn't find anybody until somebody said to me that Donald Pleasance was available.
You made a mistake, my friend. No astronaut would enter the capsule carrying his air conditioner.
In that particular scene, he's sort of stroking the cat, you can see his hand, and as he sort of slowly spins around, you see what appears to be a normal person, and as the sort of camera pans...
I am Ernst Stavro Blofeld. They told me you were assassinated in Hong Kong.
Yes, this is my second life.
He looks like he's been melted. It looks like someone's taken a blowtorch to the side of his face.
You only live twice, Mr. Bond.
Target vehicle passing over central Russia.
And you think, oh, well, that's why I've never seen him before. If I looked like that, I wouldn't want to be on camera either.
As you see, I am about to inaugurate a little war.
The disfigured face of Donald Pleasance has become one of the cinema's most famous images, but the scar was actually a last-minute afterthought.
Donald Pleasance is not a very imposing figure, and the feeling was when he turned up on the set, dressed, that he should have something a bit more extraordinary looking. There were things like hunchbacks and dragging feet, and I think everything had been talked about.
Remove his suit and search him.
Time was getting on with this huge set and 400 extras standing by, and we thought, well, we better go. Here's Donald with his scar.
This is the price of failure, Mr. Bond.
So unnecessary. But somehow James Bond has always been able to talk his way out of dangerous situations and into the affections of many a young woman. He is the man with the silver tongue and the best one-liners in the business.
Ah, yes, the legendary 007 wit.
It's the wit of it that I think made those films so wonderful.
Is anything the matter, Secretary?
Just a slight stiffness coming on.
Bond has a sense of humour. It may be quite a vicious one at times, but he does have a sense of humour.
I think you got the point.
Connery, the humour was a little bit dark, but it fitted in perfectly with the films, with the stories, and particularly with that character.
I remember one when he was dancing with somebody.
One of my friends sits this one out. She's just dead.
You look after my friend, she's just there. Just brought the house down.
I always look for humour in whatever I'm doing, no matter how serious or whatever.
Shocking.
I think it tells stories better.
Positively shocking.
It takes people along where you want to go better.
Moore takes it so much more towards being a pastiche almost of what Connery was doing.
Play it again, Sam.
Definitely, he's in it for the laughs.
Bond, what do you think you're doing?
Keeping the British end up, sir.
James?
The Invincible's underway for some.
Where are you?
Oh, Moneypenny.
With Pierce, we've tried to make it more of an ironic style of humour.
I'm just up here at Oxford, brushing up on a little Danish.
Nowadays, it's more even. My Moneypenny is allowed to absolutely get as many good put-downs and as many double entendres as he does.
So, you square.
You always were a cunning linguist, James.
I did enjoy saying, you always were a cunning linguist, James. I did enjoy that.
Brilliant.
Not all 007s have been quite so lucky in love. When an unknown Australian called George Lazenby took on the role, he did something no other James Bond had done before or has done since. He turned his Bond girl into a Bond bride. It was just bound to end in tears.
James, where have you been?
Much too far from you, darling.
Scream James. Oh, only more so.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service has now come to be kind of reclaimed as one of the great Bonds.
It's true!
George Lazenby was a model and had done a very good commercial. Nothing to do with us, for Fry's Chocolate. The only problem was the boy had never acted before.
Big Fry.
I thought I could make him act. He was very malleable.
Have you got an action, George?
516, take 3.
He's the one Bond that you really feel could handle himself, that's really got that physical presence, and got it. I think he got the film because he auditioned really well in a fight scene.
All right, action.
But then they said, can he talk? And I had this mad Australian accent. You know, g'day, mate. How are you? I'm from Australia. They sent me along to this voice coach. I can't remember her name, but Harold Wilson was coming out of there when I was going in.
Forgive me. My mind was elsewhere. Madame has forgotten we agreed to be partners this evening. Please continue.
Lazenby's challenge wasn't just playing the leading role with no previous acting experience. He was asked to take Bond into new territory as the womanizing hero gives up his philandering for the love of a good woman.
Why do you persist in rescuing me, Mr. Bond?
It's becoming a habit, isn't it, Contessa Teresa?
Therese was a saint. I'm no Miss Tracy.
You warm more to Bond, I think, in On Her Majesty's Secret Service because you see him as a real guy with real emotions. In this, you see him actually falling in love, and you see them in a kind of montage sequence, romancing each other with, We Have All the Time in the World playing in the background. It is a love story, and that's great.
Every step of the way.
What a song.
We'll find out.
It turned out with We Have All the Time in the World that it was Louis Armstrong's last recording. He'd been very ill, he'd been in hospital, came to New York and we recorded.
We have all the time in the world.
He did it in 2 takes.
Just for love.
Kind of a touching moment.
Nothing more, nothing less.
And it adds to the layering of the film where Bond is revealing a feminine side, if you like, that in most of the other films he wouldn't go near revealing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the toast is the bride and bridegroom, Mr. and Mrs. James Bond.
I so wanted him to get, so wanted to get hooked. I'm like, yes, but can't possibly happen, can it?
Something horrible is going to happen, and it did.
He loves me
Instinctively.
infuriatingly.
Intensely. Indubitably.
First a boy and then a girl.
Bullet through the windscreen, meant for Bond. Gets Diana Rigg. She's dead.
He was wonderful when we killed her. I kept him hanging around. I got him so nervous and agitated. He was so angry with me. It was wonderful. When he did the scene, he had that look of complete anxiety.
It's all right. It's quite all right, really. She's having a rest. I actually had the book with me because when I read the book, I cried at the end. So I thought, I'll use that. And I had it there, and Diana Rigg was laying on my lap.
We'll be going on soon.
I was reading the book beside her head, and I got the same feeling, same emotion. And I actually cried. Tears ran down my cheeks on the first take. And Peter said, James Bond doesn't cry. Do it without the tears.
There's no hurry, you see. We have all the time in the world.
It was the most powerful one, was the first one they left in the cutting room.
You must remember that was the sixth Bond at that time. It was an entirely different ending. And it shook everybody. It was great.
I've no idea whether that
Poignant
tape exists.
end to a Bond movie, which I don't think any of us had. Normally it's just, let's snog, we'll shag soon, and meanwhile we'll get whisked into the air like this huge plane that's going to drag us up by a winch. It was very touching.
I think it is just a great film, and it was great that Lazenby did it, and it's a shame that he didn't go on to do a few more.
And the very best ever Bond is still to come. It's bound to be revealed. Welcome back to Best Ever Bond, your favourite moments from the first 40 years of 007. In that time, nearly half the world's population has sat down to watch a James Bond film. And the only ones disappointed were those that didn't get there from the start.
The pre-title sequence are absolute strokes of genius. I mean, they're mini movies in themselves.
Whose hero is it? Yours.
The beginning bits are always brilliant because that sets you up just on the edge of your seat. You never know what's going to happen.
You have these set pieces. It's part of the Bond legacy now. You go to the movie, you hear the music, and you want big stunts. And it's how do you give bigger bang for your buck?
And at number 6 in your Best Ever Bond countdown, an epic pre-title sequence with a twist.
It's a chase sequence up until the point when you reveal that there is an end to this mountain. You know, it doesn't go into a valley and to safety below.
There's nowhere to go. What the hell's going to happen? We know it's the beginning of the film. We know he's got to escape. We can't imagine how it's going to happen.
When the sound goes, that is a great moment because that's not going to happen often in a Bond movie when everything disappears.
And it's an amazing shot anyway because there's no digital trickery. Somebody's really going off a cliff and then falling.
Michael Wilson saw in Playboy a still picture of skiing off a cliff, and he said to me, "What do you think of that?" And I said, "Well, God, that's fantastic, but can anybody do it?" He said, "Well, I think I can get the man through the picture."
You have to understand that I was on what the Brits call the dole. I'd completed a year as a ski instructor and was going on unemployment. And suddenly I get this call. This is London on the phone.
And he confessed I really didn't jump off. They had me up there, and then they dropped me out of a helicopter. But I could do it, he said. I could do it.
I went off to Mount Asgard, which is in the Arctic Circle. It was a finger of rock that rose some 7,000 feet in the air and had a vertical face of over 5,000 feet. I took with me a very small crew.
There were just 11 of us, including a doctor who I'm glad his services weren't required. An undertaker would have been more like it.
We couldn't do the jump unless the wind speed was 2 miles an hour or less, because Rick would have been blown into the face.
Bad weather set in the second week, and things were quite tense. And then I heard rumors that calls are coming from London every day. Has he done it yet? Because the course were mounted. I was kind of secretly rooting against good weather. Oh God, it's bad weather. I don't have to do it. Another day of living, you know?
After waiting 2 weeks, they got about half an hour of sunlight. They needed the backlight.
The last minute before you do it is sort of terrifying, actually. You know, you said you're going to do it, and now you have to do it. And you've checked with all the cameras, and they're ready. And you say you're ready, and yeah, I guess you could back away from it, but it's going to look bad. It's going to be a big mess. Better just to do it.
Once everything was in position, I said, Rick, don't forget you're James Bond. Go.
You do a short intake of breath. This is it. You really feel that that moment you're doing the most insane thing of any one of the 5 billion plus people at the time on the planet. It's a bad moment.
You think he's gone, and this music stops, and he's just gone. Oh my God, that's it. He's got it. That's it. He's gone now.
And everyone just goes berserk.
Yes! Union Jack, right? So, they're British.
Oh, you know, it's just kind of, yeah, we're off and running. Brilliant.
It's absolutely ridiculous, but those are the moments that you live for in a James Bond film.
Something I hadn't thought about was once the parachute opened, the skis caught up with him, and one of them narrowly missed him and went down past him, and the other one hit the canopy.
He just got away with it.
I felt a lot of relief. You know, I think the line that went through my head was, it worked.
We brought Rick back up to the top of the mountain in the helicopter, and he was wearing this yellow suit, and his face was green. He looked like he'd just come down from Mars. You know, he was sick as a dog.
It worked. I survived. I was a very happy camper.
Of course, I would have done it myself if only they'd asked. But next, at number 5 in Best Ever Bond, we feature one of the film images of the 60s. Just shows how much you can do with a lick of paint.
I think the image of me painted gold, nude, looking nude, was a first.
Bond first meets Jill Masterson helping the evil Goldfinger cheat at cards.
He's holding on to the 6 of spades, so I guess he thinks you want it. That last draw was the 8 of hearts.
What?
So. She was a sophisticated girl, knew her way around, I think, but wouldn't be taken advantage of.
You're much too nice to be mixed up in anything like this. Now hear this, Goldfinger. Your luck has just changed.
Then meets James Bond and falls for him, which was very easy with Sean.
Now start losing, Goldfinger. Shall we say $10,000? Now let's be generous. Let's make it 15,000.
May I see?
There is inevitably the love scene with her and Bond, and it's a classic love scene in that she's going to die afterwards.
Washington, at the White House this afternoon, the president said he was entirely satisfied.
That makes two of us.
Different young men have said they found that little scene really sexy, but it's not sultry. It was playful and fun, I think.
Oh, Felix.
And then there's naughty lines that he has, the typical sort of early Bond innuendos.
Oh, look, I'm sorry. I can't. Something big's come up.
We used to have trouble with the censor, and I said, but if an 8-year-old gets that double entendre, then he's a dirty little bugger, so then don't give us a hard time.
Why?
There's another in the fridge.
Who needs it?
My dear girl, there are some things that just aren't done. Such as drinking Dom Perignon 53 above a temperature of 38 degrees Fahrenheit. That's as bad as listening to the Beatles without earmuffs.
Then he goes off to get some champagne, and he gets boom, knocked on the head.
And Harold Sakata, who played Odd Job, was monumentally strong, but very genuine and gentle guy. And yet, when he gave me that chop behind the neck at the fridge, he put me on the floor. He wasn't quite used to the cinema technique of taking it to the wire and then stopping.
It is one of the moments of the Bond movies, that scene when he walks into the door and there she is dead and painted gold on the bed. It's a big moment in the Bond canon.
It's weird, isn't it? I think it's kind of sexy, it's kind of weird, and people might think, gosh, I wonder if she's gone all stiff. No naughty thoughts. I wonder if it hurts her. I wonder if she likes it. Doesn't she look good?
Painting a naked girl with gold so powerfully sums up the notion of a man, Goldfinger, for whom the possession of wealth has become a substitute for sex. And that's symbolised by the naked woman killed by the gold. That was quite brilliant.
The girl's dead. Masterson, Jill Masterson. And she's covered in paint. Gold paint.
I was painted with a very fine, broad, like a paintbrush you paint the walls with, but fine sable brush all over.
Everybody was worried that if you cover too much of the body with that gold paint, maybe it would affect the breathing or something like that. We were very careful on that issue.
I don't know how dangerous it actually was, but I had an area in the front of me, because I'm lying on my tummy on the bed, that was left unpainted, only a little area. And of course my skull wasn't painted, but it was uncomfortable. I felt terribly hot. Getting it off was damn difficult. A week later I went and had a Turkish bath to make sure I'd got all the bits, because it really did go into my skin.
And there are certain images which define the age. And in the 60s, you had Christine Keeler sitting on a chair with the back, and Harold Wilson and the Beatles, perhaps Neil Armstrong walking on the moon, and Shirley Eaton painted gold on the bed. Brilliant.
Bond just wouldn't be Bond without his amazing array of gadgets, jetpacks, exploding cigarettes, ski poles that fire bullets. He's always been ahead of the game. Now, everyone's using car phones and personal bleepers. Funny how that plastic third nipple never caught on.
Something we're making for the Americans. It's called the Ghetto Blaster.
Gadgets are important in Bond movies because boys like gadgets. I mean, that's what makes the world go round. You can't find a man that doesn't like gadgets.
Sheer magnetism, man.
As I was saying, the very latest in intercepts and countermeasures. Titanium armor. A multitasking heads-up display. And 6 beverage cup holders.
Both the scripts and the gadgets are
invented by the writers and producers on the basis of what is really going on in the world. I mean, I think they're looking at the cutting edge of technology.
I was lucky enough to go to lunch in MI6.
Don't touch that!
I said, do you have a queue? And they said, oh yes, we have lots of queues.
It's my lunch.
Balls queue. Bonus 007.
I want that ready for Ahmed's tea party.
Smile, boys.
Don't use the rat!
In the Bond movies, there are many, many different gadgets, many of which actually have a truth.
This is our special baby rocket. It's very useful for people who smoke too many cigarettes like you.
And that truth comes from Fleming's own experience during the war with naval intelligence.
Very neat.
During the war, the Special Operations Executive, one of the secret British organisations, produced a series of catalogues of the type of equipment that a secret agent could use. Special types of explosive devices, a one-man submarine, attaché cases that explode.
Q Branch has put together a smart-looking piece of luggage for us. We're issuing this to all 00 personnel.
An art director came into my workshops and he said, I want a attaché case made. So I said, well, go out and buy one.
Now, if you take the top off, you'll find the ammunition inside.
He said, but there's a difference. And he showed me a little sketch why it couldn't be bought.
On the side here, flat throwing knife. Press that button there, now she comes.
He wanted a lot of other things like bombs and tear gas.
Bond does revolve around gadgets, so to speak. The man finds himself in tricky situations and he needs the gadgets to get out of the situations. And, you know, the audience loves that.
Can you swim? And naturally, every 007 has to have the right set of wheels.
You'll be using this Aston Martin DB5 with modifications. Now, pay attention, please.
The favourite was the DB5 with the map. I mean, looking at it now, you know, people have those in sort of Nissan Prima. You know, they have it in those sort of cars, a map that shows you where you are. But that was just unbelievable.
Ingenious, useful too. Allow a man to stop off for a quick one en route.
It has not been perfected over years of patient research entirely for that purpose, 007.
Car's full of stuff. I think there's a kind of tray of guns that you can pull out. It has kind of Bodicea spikes that come out. It also shoots oil out the back. It's like wacky races, really.
I had one of those when I was a kid. Revolving number plates. So they say we're after P4. No, you spell it now. It's ST. Oh, bugger it. You press it again. Forget it. It's just a silver car.
That was the coolest toy to have. That DB5, everybody had to have that in the ejector seat.
Ejector seat, you jock.
We did it. For real, on the films.
And it was just so thrilling just to have that little release.
Brilliant, what a car.
Coming up next on Best Ever Bond, things really start to take off.
Here we are.
It just went so close. You were like, no, it can't be true. I want to play something.
The world has changed a lot since 007's debut in 1962. By the time GoldenEye went into production in the mid-90s, the Cold War was over. And so, said many experts, was James Bond's glittering career as a master spy. Well, he drove a tank through that particular theory.
Eine Revolution auf deutschem Boden.
When the Cold War ended, a lot of people thought spy stories were finished. And I imagine that the Bond producers must have been a bit worried. and must have wondered, you know, whether they could carry on.
In London, April's a spring month.
Oh, yeah? What are you, the weatherman? For crying out loud, another stiff-ass Brit. Your secret codes and your passwords. One of these days, you guys are going to learn just to drop it.
There was a real question about the relevancy of someone like James Bond in the world. We had to confront that directly.
You don't like me, Bond. You don't like my methods. You think I'm an accountant. A bean counter, more interested in my numbers than your instincts.
The thought had occurred to me.
Everyone in the film, villains and even his own team, were taking a poke at James Bond. They were really questioning him.
Good. Because I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur. A relic of the Cold War.
So he wasn't seen as this superhuman anymore. Robbie Coltrane's character would like take the mick out of Bond a bit.
James Bond. Charming, sophisticated secret agent. Shaken but not disturbed.
It could have had a weakening effect, I suppose, except that then, you know, immediately after he's been put down a bit, he's doing something utterly fantastically courageous and daring.
They updated it just enough to make it relevant, but at the same time kept the elements that you want from a Bond movie. And I think Pierce Brosnan is a great Bond to have at the moment.
I really truly believe that Pierce is the best Bond, and I'm not just saying that. And you absolutely believe that he could be a spy. He can do a lot of the physical stuff, so that's not even asking people to suspend belief.
It is Bond back with a bang.
And you voted 007 creating havoc behind the wheel of a tank in St. Petersburg as best ever Bond moment number 4.
GoldenEye was the first Bond film for 6 years, and all the diehards had come along and sort of taken what would traditionally be the Bond crowd. So this was the attempt to really show they were still there. The team definitely showed that they could still, you know, carry off the big stunt.
First time I saw that amazing tank chase was at the premiere. You think, how on earth would I, if I was a director, how on earth would I even begin to do that? Or shoot that?
I've seen lots of car chases and lots of helicopter chases and lots of motorbike chases and boat chases, but I can't remember too many other tank chases. Definitely not. It originally started off as a motorbike chase, and then we hit upon the idea, well, why have a motorbike chase? He's in a military pen, as it were. Why doesn't he jump on a tank?
The idea of putting James Bond into a tank is fantastic. The tank can do pretty well anything. It's hard to destroy a tank, so... And tanks are slightly better than cars because they go through walls, right?
We had a lot of logistical problems. The streets were cobble streets. If you run a tank over that, it not only breaks the cobbles, but also destroys the sewer system under the pavement. So we had to put half-inch steel sheeting everywhere we're going to run the tanks. On top of that, we had to then put paving stones and build a street. So there was a lot of logistics involved in that.
For the sequences of complete mayhem and destruction, a life-size replica of a St. Petersburg street was created back in England.
One of the good things is that nobody gets hurt, actually. And lots of property gets hurt. Cars, I mean, just always bursting into flame or being run over.
It's a Bond film. No general public gets killed. So we'd crush a police car and you'd always have to do a shot of the policeman getting out.
Things keep happening, they keep piling on and on and on. It's like a slapstick silent movie or something.
What was that? The tank chase is in the great tradition of Ealing comedies, because in Ealing comedies, if there's a chase, you'd always at some point go past a fruit stall. This is a thing that always happened in Ealing comedies, and you were very pleased to see it, and you always get the fruit seller going, "Ew," like that.
At that point, it was the most expensive Bond sequence ever or something, and it needed to be. That is money well spent, because Bond needed to say in GoldenEye, "We can deliver the goods."
Bond films set the precedent. You can never do something twice. It's always got to be different, and you've always got to strive to do something different.
You'd think a man so dedicated to saving the world would have little chance to do anything else. But while Bond is busy getting his man, he usually has time for the women too. So let us remind ourselves of the girls that James has loved and lost. To lose one is unfortunate, but to lose so many, it's damned careless.
Oh, I enjoy a spirited ride as much as the next girl.
That feels like a cage.
Somebody's gonna have my ass. I'll just go and put some clothes.
I don't know any trouble. Would you like it, Harlan?
Cheers.
Bond always starts each new movie without the girl that he finished up with, but you never see her being dumped, or indeed dumping him. The slate is wiped clean.
Export this bunting.
I couldn't agree with him more.
I may even give up golf for it.
James Bond was the first time that English actresses were allowed to be sexy, and I mean allowed.
Souvenir from another jealous woman.
Yes, but I haven't turned my back on one since.
Previous to that, if we were playing anything, you know, it was all sweetness and light and rosebud mouths, and we all spoke a bit like that, you know.
When did you say you had to leave?
The Bond girls aren't sort of trashy, jump into bed. Although they do jump into bed with him, there is something so refined about them.
You're one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen.
Thank you, but I think my mouth is too big.
No, it's the right size.
The names of the Bond girls are all probably fairly self-explanatory.
Who are you?
My name is Pussy Galore.
Now, you couldn't get away with a name like that today, could you? Pussy Galore, good gracious me.
I must be dreaming.
The name Pussy Galore has followed me around, and it was very strange when I went to the States to do the promotion tour for Goldfinger. There were some interviewers who wouldn't say it.
I'm looking for Dr. Goodhead.
You just found her.
There's Holly Goodhead.
A woman?
Your powers of observation do you credit, Mr. Bond.
My favourite Bond girl name is Chew Me.
How's the water?
Why don't you come in and find out?
Sounds very tempting, Miss...
To me.
You're just asking for it. If you're going to say the name to Roger Moore, you know, the eyebrow goes up.
Really? Well, there's only one small problem. I have no swimming trunks.
Neither have I.
Some of the women in Bond films were just bimbos who fell flat on their backs when they saw Sean Connery, as well you might.
Hello.
Felix, say hello to Dink.
Hi, Dink.
Dink, say goodbye to Felix. Man talk.
You can come out now.
It was a lot of O. James and a lot of big, what I call cow eyes, just looking up adoringly at him.
James!
Aren't we a little overdressed, good night?
I mean, it's obviously tongue-in-cheek. I think there's been a lot of, feminist uproar about the way women are portrayed in Bond, but I think it's fun.
Agent Triple X. Calling Agent Triple X. You will report to headquarters immediately.
Almost all the girls in the movies, they're double agents and they're not always what they seem, and I just thought that was always imbuing the girls with some depth.
This is Triple X. Message received and understood.
I love a sexy woman with a gun and in a bikini and high heels, and this idea of strength and beauty and being dangerous.
Who are you? James, you must be good.
Oh, naturally. But behind every good Bond, there's been some outstanding women. And none more so than the unforgettable Ursula Andress, the very first film, Dr. No. When she emerged from the sea, it sent the sails of bikinis soaring. And as for male pulses, well, I think think you can guess.
Ursula Andress was the first, and I suppose because I was so impressionable, so young, I thought it didn't get better than that.
When you think of a Bond girl, we're all thinking of Ursula.
She looks as a woman ought to. You know, you can understand Bond perking up his interest as he peers out and suddenly sees this apparition coming at him.
It really looked like she belonged in the sea, like she was another creature. She wasn't the creature of this earth. It was as if she just came out of the sea and was born.
Dripping wet. I mean, it was highly erotic even to me when I was, 7 years old.
Ursula Andress couldn't speak English anyway, so her lines, her speaking lines, are dubbed, as is her singing.
Underneath the mango tree, me honey and me.
Underneath the mango
I think a lot of people remember me for Bless This House as Sid James' wife. But I don't think people remember me as a singer.
underneath the mango
When I did the voice, I was singing as I felt she would sing if she could sing. Oh, I'm very proud of that scene, even if I'm not seen in the scene. I'm very, very proud of it.
Underneath the mango tree, my honey and me.
Who's that?
She was, for me, sort of the sexiest thing I'd ever seen. She was wearing a bikini, and I know it's hard for you to understand this, but not many women wore bikinis in 1962.
All right. I'm not supposed to be here either. I take it you're not. Are you alone?
What are you doing here? Looking for shells?
No, I'm just looking.
Ursula doing anything at that time was terrific. Getting up out of bed, getting off the grass.
Here you are.
Having lunch, you look great.
I promise I won't steal your shells.
I promise you won't either. Stay where you are.
I can assure you my intentions are strictly honourable.
I think it was one of the first times that you saw a woman who was really beautiful, who looked like they could handle, take on any trouble. Now that was an amazing image. I've never forgotten. I mean, no one's ever forgotten.
Why the Honey Rider coming out of the sea scene is so sexy is all to do with the suggestion.
What's your name?
Ryder.
Ryder what?
Honey Ryder.
Her name is Honey, suggestion, Rider, further suggestion, and on top of all that, nothing they could have ever planned, the actress is Ursula Andress, which sounds like undress. So it's all loaded in there, and that's why we all find it so sexy.
How do you beat that? Find out after the break as the best ever Bond comes to an all too premature end. I do hope you made your choices carefully. They will turn out to be your last. Welcome back to Best Ever Bond, some of the most memorable moments from 40 years, 19 films and 5 James Bonds. That's a Scotsman, an Irishman, a Welshman, an Australian, and me, an Englishman. What an explosive combination.
The hardest thing on any movie nowadays is to come up with some original sequence, and more so the original opening sequence for a Bond. It's nightmare time.
There's been 19 Bonds, and you've got to compete against that huge heritage that you inherit, and that's as hard as anything. So you've got to have new ideas and outdo what previous Bonds have done.
And at number 2, the longest pre-title sequence in Bond history. It's the heart-stopping speedboat chase down the Thames from The World Is Not Enough.
The boat chase is extraordinary, or made more extraordinary to an English audience, because it's all the bits that you know about. If you live in London, you're going, oh my God, they're there! It's just like...
And what's amazing
amazing is when you do a Bond film, however preposterous your requests are, people just seem to melt in front of you. Thames Authority were very helpful and closed the River Delbridge.
The biggest problem on the Thames, when all was said and done, actually was the House of Parliament. They didn't like us going by early in the morning. I know Jack Straw did go in and say what a great boost it was, the English economy Bond, and they went easy on us after that.
The sequence on the Thames was great to do because I could actually do it. Because I can drive motorboats and like the water and water sports. So it was good to do, to be able to be physically in there.
He was hammering along, and when what you see is just so real, you see him get hit in the face with a bucket of dirty old Thames water, it takes his breath away, but he carries on. The real stunt driving was done by a girl called Sarah Donahue, who was absolutely incredible. She races powerboats, and she was blonde, but we wigged her up. Really very, very talented driver.
At the end of the day, the Sunseeker is a family boat. It's a boat for cruising at 30 miles an hour. It's not meant to charge down the Thames, do a full lock, 180 degrees, come back in itself, smash through piers. You know, it's not meant for that. For the actual pier shot, he said you don't need to go at full tilt, only sort of half, three-quarter speed, get to it. You only need to get close to it and it'll smash because it's a breakaway pier. But one of the stunt guys, his final word to me were, smash it. So I thought, oh, go on then. There's nothing better than smashing something and not getting a bill for it.
The funniest thing for me is when he goes underwater and straightens his tie underwater, you know, which wasn't on the paper. That was one of Pierce's things. You know, they're dragging him through this tank in Pinewood, and he has the idea of straightening his tie. Which, you know, you have to reflect in the music as well.
The clamp was my idea. I always like having little moments the audience can relieve the pressure. Knowing everybody dislikes clampers, especially this particular one.
They told me to play a cameo role of myself. They were very vague at the start to tell me exactly what was going to happen to me.
And he was sort of saying to me, now what sort of reaction would you like when the water comes over me? I said, I'd just act naturally, I think it'd be okay. He was just so relaxed, he thought he was going to get some splashes on him, you know.
And the boat just came right at the side of the water. And the water just lifted me, and I was mesmerised. I had no idea where I was. A pile of mash. And they thought it was great, everybody was cheering, clapping.
It's funny even thinking about it now. But yeah, it was perfect. It had to be first time, otherwise the reaction would have been gone.
I've always thought that the Bond theme should be saved for moments when James Bond does something typically James Bond-esque. If you use it on everything, you kind of lose the effectiveness of it. When he goes on land, I play the James Bond theme on the guitar. And then the whole thing is kind of like this huge tease. Because everyone knows what's coming. At some point you're going to hear a full-blown da-da-da-da-da-da, and you've got to wait for something pretty good for that to give us the excuse to do it. And I'd save the big kind of key change and the big ba-da-da-da-da-da when we see the dome. Kind of emerges from the restaurant and shoots out of the restaurant, lands on the Thames, you know. But it makes the dome seem quite heroic, so it got the theme at that point.
All in all, it was a good 4 months of work. Everybody thinks a week, 2 weeks. No, it doesn't work like that. I mean, it took a hell of a long time. But then again, that's how they get it perfect, isn't it? There wasn't one thing that wasn't right on that boat chase. It looked fantastic from start to finish.
Our mission to find the ultimate Bond moment is almost at an end. But before I tell you which clip ITV viewers voted best ever Bond, let us remind ourselves of the countdown so far. At number 10, what's his name again?
Bond.
James Bond. Hijinks from Moonraker at number 9. Don't call me Scarface.
You only live twice, Mr. Bond.
And 7, farewell, Mrs. James Bond.
It's never easy. You have all the time in the world.
An astonishing leap into the unknown at 6. And another golden moment at number 5. Breaking through at 4, James Bond, Tank Commander. A sight for sore eyes, Honey Rider at number 3. And at 2, Messing About on the River. And so we come to our best ever Bond moment. It must have been a torturous choice for you all. As for our hero, he has survived high-speed car chases, sworn enemies, and a bedroom suite full of scorned women, and he still doesn't look a day older than he did in 1962. How does he do it?
You are looking at an industrial laser. It can project a spot on the moon. Or at closer range, cut through solid metal. I will show you.
There's more than one torture in the Bond books that involves Bond's genitals.
James Bond is tied to a table face up, and there's this huge, powerful laser gun pointing between his feet, aiming for Mr. Bond's crown jewels.
This is gold, Mr. Bond. All my life I've been in love with its color.
This is a classic situation in the Bond films.
I welcome any enterprise that will increase my stock.
The enemy believes implicitly that he's got Bond where he or she wants him, and he can't get away.
Of course, there was some reservations about lying there. It's a kind of vulnerable position, like some gynecological exploration or something that one isn't too enamored of.
I think you've made your point, Goldfinger. Thank you for the demonstration.
Choose your next witticism carefully, Mr. Bond. It may be your last.
I love that laser beam sequence because I think every man in the world would identify with it, you know, as it starts cutting all the way up towards his groin.
Ow, that's gonna go where? You know, it was a horrific moment.
The purpose of our 2 previous encounters is now very clear to me. I do not intend to be distracted by another. Good night, Mr. Bond.
I suppose if I saw it now, I might think it was funny, but at the time it seemed absolutely terrifying.
It makes it even more exciting to know that there was a man underneath the table with an acetylene torch going. So even if it wasn't Sean Connery's knackers that were in the firing line, somebody's were.
It was not a very pleasant scene to do. Not really, because you really had a real live torch under there. Not a laser, but a torch, which was flipping hot. The sheet of brass already had a slot cut in it filled with solder, and all the acetylene torch did was to come along it.
And they can't see what they're doing. I mean, they're just, so we're saying, that's it, keep on going, no, slowly, go slowly, slowly, slowly. And as the lead melted, there's a nice bit of flame coming along.
It was absolutely crucial that it could stop exactly when it had to.
So they're underneath, you know, with this blowtorch following the thing, and Sean is getting a bit twitchy.
It was warm, and I would imagine that one's imagination ran a bit riot too with it.
It just went so close. You were like, no, it can't be true.
I don't know about Bond sweating. I wasn't far short of it myself, actually.
It was classic ultra-villain. I've got ya, you are gonna die.
And Bond says something like,
You expect me to talk?
You expect me to talk?
And Goldfinger sort of turns around casually as he's going out of the door and says,
No, I expect you to die, Mr. Bond.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
No, I expect you to die.
Classic line, isn't it?
It was on that particular line, that, which of course I could hear, that I got my real cue, because I knew then I was coming to the end, because I couldn't see Sean's clutch.
Now you're forgetting one thing. If I fail to report, 008 replaces me. I trust he will be more successful.
Goldfinger walks into the control room, and we start talking about the next thing we have to do, because that's all cut and dried. 007 is now going to die.
Well, he knows what I know.
You know nothing, Mr. Bond.
It was like, how is he going to get out of this, man?
Bond suddenly says something, a sentence that includes the words,
Operation Grand Slam, for instance.
Bond has just heard this one word and he shouts it out, and you just see Goldfinger pause. I think it's a great scene.
You are quite right, Mr. Bond. You are worth more to me alive.
Oh, and don't worry about 007. He survived and lived to die another day. Good night.
Well, I've got a drink to that. That was just as good, if not better, than I remember, because it's been many years since I've watched that one, like all the others. Excuse me a moment, I'm a bit dry. But seeing Roger host that, I'm going to come back to. I just want to go back into the programme itself as a whole. I've said this before about the ones we've already seen, where they speak to people, whether it's film critics, journalists, etc. But more importantly, former stars of former films. Just talking about how previous films affected them and inspired them, not necessarily to want to star in one of the films, but to become an actor and actress themselves, and how previous movies have made them feel, whether they've made them feel anxious, excited, amused, upset. It's just great, and I just want to see that. I want to see Amazon return and bring something like that back for when we do get the new movie. And whether it's Amazon or ITV, BBC, you name it, get people involved, you know, like I say, because it just adds something more to it, to that experience. And as for my beloved Sir Roger Moore, it just looks effortless, doesn't it? He just oozes charisma and charm, and God bless him, I love him to bits. And I said a few weeks ago, this was the documentary, if you want to call it that, I want to refer back to. And what I mean by that is, as an ambassadorial role, there's been Sir Roger, and we all know that he was probably the best ambassador for the role, even up until when you see, you know, like Marianne Darbo did it briefly for a while. Naomi Harris has done it brilliantly since she's been involved. Whether that continues moving forward into the new era, we don't know. However, I think I've got the perfect replacement if this person would be interested. And it's funny because a few people have said they would love to see Pierce Brosnan do a Logan style take as an older Bond, as a one-off special. I haven't got a problem with that, but I think he'd be the perfect ambassador for the James Bond franchise under the Amazon banner, and to do something like we've just seen with Sir Roger, that he could host and compare a compilation show like that, a celebratory show. You know, surely to goodness, when the new movie comes, you need someone to be kind of a standard bearer for the franchise moving forward. And Pierce Brosnan, I mean, surely there's nobody better than that. I suppose you could say maybe Timothy Dalton or Daniel Craig, but I just think of the Bonds, the previous Bonds that could effortlessly do it. I think out of the three, as much as I love them all, I think Pierce Brosnan's got that little bit of something special, and Amazon just signed him up to do an ambassadorial role because it's a no-brainer for me. It really, really is. So on that note, I hope you've really enjoyed this one. I have, and if word gets around about this one, maybe it'll have the most views of one of these Wednesday watch-alongs yet. I wouldn't be surprised if I'd watch this again once this whole runs over, because of the nostalgia of it all, if you like. So there's only one more left to go, which is the 40th anniversary BAFTA tribute, and I think that rocks in at about an hour and a half, so a little bit longer than this one. So most likely a YouTube watch for people. And as always, leave a like, a subscribe, a share, a follow, word of mouth, anything else that I have possibly missed out, and just enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you at the weekend once again for another Sunday episode. So look after each other, look out for each other, and until next time everybody, I will see you again soon. Take care now, bye bye. And it's still going, there you go. Look, you know, consistency is comforting.